Starting. Yo! What's going on, guys? This is Grim Reaper back with the greatness again. Nakaba Sensei has blessed us with another chapter of Seven Deadly Sins. This week we're on chapter 292. A plethora of pigs have joined me today, as it sounds, and we're going to be dissecting the greatness that is the original demon?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
That was kind of crazy as fuck. Before we get started, let's go across the line and talk about our chapter ratings, what we thought, and then we'll get into it,
man. Who's going first?
Grimm, since he's like the first one.
No. Fang.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll go first. Fuck it. Personally, 10 out of 10 chapter. First half, original demon. Second, I called that shit a couple of podcasts ago, so pretty happy about that. And the fact that even Modern was like, okay, I have no idea, like, went through. Like, I can do nothing. Escanor was, like, leering at the motherfucker. He was sweating a bit. So, this dude is a beast.
Yo, I feel it.
That'd be fucking amazing.
What's up, Griever?
One quick thing. Fang, what was your actual rating for the chapter? I missed that.
A 10 out of a motherfucking 10.
Oh, nice.
Motherfucking 10.
I gave it, initially, I gave it an 8, but I'm going to give it a 9. I haven't done my review yet because I love the fact that I just love everything in this chapter. I don't want to go too in detail, but everything that Fang said is absolutely true. Chapter was lit. A lot of great things happened. I have a couple of problems. That's why it loses 1 point. There's a couple of things that, for me, are a little inconsistent and a little bit of like, where did that come from? But for the most part, yeah, it was a solid chapter. Way better than the wreck that was last chapter.
Yeah, 8 out of 10. I got issues with the chapter, but I feel like just coming off of what I think is the worst chapter since last week, there was no way it could be worse. So it was great. My boy's back at the last page, came through, so that's always a good time. And yeah, last week now feels like an irrelevant chapter, more so than a bad chapter. But I'll leave that alone for now. Go ahead, Zarso.
I don't want to hear that last chapter didn't
Mid.
anything because that's just some false rhetoric from our resident NID Hemmings. Don't mind the knuckle dragging ape in the corner. I thought this chapter was pretty good. I'd probably give it around a 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10. I wasn't expecting the original to pop up like that. That was just geez. Like there's a lot of stuff just popping up left and right this chapter. Last chapter was like had most of the overwhelming stuff, and this chapter was like, okay, even more crazy shit's going on. Like, I'm not numb to it or anything. It's like this is what I expect in the Holy War. So so overall, good chapter. Yeah, just that's it. Really, yeah, that's it.
I thought the chapter was pretty.
So you gonna skip Sundown?
Sundown? Let Sundown talk.
See that?
He unmuted and everything. That's crazy.
Yeah, what the hell? Let Sundown talk.
Go ahead, Sundown, bro.
We used to be friends, man. But then you had to go and do that. Man, I used to talk to you every day. But yeah, this chapter I liked it. 8 out of 10 I'd give it. There were a couple of things I'm a little bit confused about. I think you guys might be able to clear up a few things. But someone literally last chapter commented on my video and almost detailed that Chandler and Cusack were gonna fuse. And I was a little bit like, that guy's a bit of a prick for ruining it for me. I mean, how did he know a week early? I'm not sure if this was a common theory or something like that, but gotta give the guy props. He did a good job.
Probably started with me.
It was Brian Cancel?
It was moving around in these in the Discord last week too, because people got that picture with the Demon King explaining, I think it was like Melia was explaining how the commandments were created, and like that whole there was like the Demon King's right hand man. He had the staff and the sword, just like Chandler and Cusack, and someone was all like, they look like they were split.
I had definitely heard it, before? My bad. Let me cut you off. I
Yeah.
thought you were done. Keep going.
No. That's it.
No, I was just saying, like, I know, like, Strider said it. I know I've seen it once or twice,
Yeah.
and while I can't say like I believed it when it happened, I wasn't remotely shocked though, and that wasn't really because of you guys. I think the clues were there. Their hints
Yeah,
were there.
they were.
I
I wasn't
this-
shocked either.
This didn't come out of left field, and I was like, "What? How?" I was like, "Yo, yeah."
But we should
Alright,
let Sundown continue his rating and stuff first.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, I think I gave it the rating 8 out of 10. Yeah, I can talk about the rest of the stuff later. Last chapter was trash.
So, fucking Sundown. Yeah, I also can recall whether like Fang was the initial inception or like somebody else. I definitely saw that source several times. I didn't necessarily take to it because of the whole like it was to me. I compared it to the Mayo thing, where I had heard about rumors and people speculating about the Mayo thing as well beforehand. But I just harped those up to like somehow people getting spoilers and shit. It's why I harp so much on that. I don't like to get outside information about the story. If I can't find it or put the hints and stitch together to myself, then it's not that I don't like to hear other people's opinions or other people's theories. It's just that like if you have an actual credible source that's telling you that, it's not a theory, it's a spoiler. So I feel like people to get praise, they'll cross that line, they'll find a spoiler or something like that, to find some outside source and then call it their own theory. I don't think that's what happened here, but it is suspicious as fuck that like around the chapters that the reveal's coming, we always get people saying it. That's why I found the Mayo thing suspicious as fuck. That's why I find this suspicious as fuck. It's not that people couldn't have predicted it. Like Fang literally predicted it on the podcast without more information than just a picture.
Yeah, and now we're just bullshitting around.
Yeah, exactly. But like, niggas will spoil you, bro. Niggas will spoil you. That's why I don't like to hear theories sometimes. Besides that, this chapter was it was good. I'm not gonna say to me, in my opinion, was as good as the last one, but this one did definitely move or progress the story forward. We can stop speculating about like how that flashback we got before is gonna relate to the thing. We saw how it worked and happened. There's a few things we're probably gonna get into arguing about this chapter. Like for example, how well demons can heal, or like things like that. We'll probably speculate that on this chapter. But I think overall, we all wanted to see progression in the storyline. We didn't want to get stuck in the same fight, and I think Nakaba's addressing that, especially with him bringing up with Zeldris saying that this is round 2. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I'll agree with that.
This should have been longer than the Miles stuff.
Yeah, the Miles stuff dragged, and
Yeah.
this stuff feels like it's not that it's dragging yet, but I feel like it could have been handled a little better, and we should see a lengthier.
This just feels like a more exciting moment. This is something I would like to see longer. I don't feel like that will be the case. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying like the Miles stuff could have been at least 3 chapters shorter, 4 chapters maybe. But
Easy.
anyways,
I mean, the last time Merlin hyped someone up, she then bodied him. So,
please don't start me on Merlin. It's just...
Yeah, we're gonna avoid Merlin talk at all costs, considering the last chapter and the last podcast. We lost half an hour of footage from the last podcast just because Grimm claims his computer died. I think he was just done. I swear to God, that's what he did.
my dog up on my computer. Yeah.
Sure he did.
I promise y'all on. I'm gonna swear to God. I promise y'all on everything, bro. I was pissed when this nigga hit the shit, bro. When he really pulled this shit. I was mad. I was heated, but I was gonna go off on y'all, bro. I was going off when this shit went out.
This guy's talking to himself.
Alright, but
about to fucking beat his dog for fucking.
Jesus.
let's get the chapter moving though. So speaking of Merlin, she had the initial presentation, and I found this to be actually like weird. But let's get into that. She was torturing Cusack to get revenge. Is this characteristic of her, or was this out of nowhere? Top to bottom.
No. It's
Hold on. Top to bottom, bro. Fang, then Griever, then Naya, then yeah.
All right, let me calm down.
All right, cool.
Fang.
Oh yeah, so about Merlin. I mean, yeah, 100% it is. I mean, from what we know, she didn't really give a fuck that her home town of wizards got wiped out. And second, and also one thing that's kind of interesting is because going back to the original demon, so the Demon King basically split that dude up soul and body. So by Merlin twisting around, because she said that she was twisting around like Kusak's soul, right? Would that have anything to do? Because now they're both fused again. So will that affect him in some way? That might be some foreshadowing for later on. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Oh, nigga, I ain't think about that shit. Oh, cause I believe what Fang is saying that they were each two separate entities with two parts of the soul, so they were technically their own soul. And if Kusak was being tortured, his soul was being tortured, is that going to affect the strength or the resilience of the original demon now?
Probably
As
not because they healed.
no, as far as I read into it, I think that the reason that when she states, but if you weren't able to continue enduring like this, like any ordinary doom would have lost their mind and died at the pain and suffering. I believe that that's because their soul, for lack of a better word, is split in two. So she's kind of torturing half a soul. I took it as that reason, and not that it's going to affect their fusion dance. So
Yeah,
to
but the
speak.
thing is, though, she's still torturing his soul, half of the original demon. So
True.
my question was like, is that gonna affect him in some way? Is that foreshadowing, or does that just not will not be affected in it at all? Because I mean, that could be something where it's like it might give Ban an opening to, I don't know, kill him or something.
Well,
If Ban will fight him, and if he'll get finally fucking his secret treasure,
Oh wait,
because he has to
wait,
get that shit.
hold on, hold on. I almost forgot to say this. I'm gonna say this now, and then we'll go back to the conversation because I want to chime in. Give my man a sacred treasure. He's beating that demon by himself. I'm saying it right now. I don't
oh
care.
yeah, I forgot you
100%
were gonna say
agree.
that.
If you don't sit
Yeah,
down,
agreed, agreed,
No help.
agreed.
No
if you
help
don't
needed.
sit down,
No help
if you don't
needed.
sit,
No,
if none of you sit down,
no help needed. Give my boy his sacred
absolutely
treasure. Original
retarded.
demon, man. I was
Yeah.
sipping on that fountain drink. I'm good. Let's go.
Stop it.
I
That
think
dude's
Naya needs to
that dude
sacrifice
is
himself.
walking through Ominous Nebula without a scratch. Just
No,
saying.
he's not.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he.
Where are you getting this? Where are you getting? This is all.
It is
60
bad
years,
season.
six-
Bad
60 years
season.
in purgatory.
This,
60 years
yo,
in purgatory,
No,
being
longer.
burned alive every day.
Okay, but on the Merlin thing, I didn't really consider that. Like think about the soul thing. I didn't like you have me thinking about it now. But at the time, I could just tell you that I just kind of wanted to get through that part quickly, so I skimmed it. Not gonna lie to you, because I'm tired of Merlin.
Whose turn is it? Me? No.
I was just gonna ask Fang really quick to reiterate something. When you say that, are you taking in reference also the fact that he said that in
Aubrey just-
Cusac's one, he said this is bad. If I don't get back to my body soon, not just me, but Master Zeldris will fall to this monster. Do you think that that's part of that? Like maybe it would have affected, if not does.
I mean, maybe it would have dealt more. Maybe it would have dealt more damage again. Like the way it was structured, it did imply that unless a demon would have died because Marin was like mutilating his soul and fucking up with his soul. So because Kusak is so strong, he was able to basically resist for that long. But because at that point her memories were restructured because of the Mael thing, he was able to escape. So maybe if that continued, the torture continued, maybe then she would have been able to break him. And keep in mind, Morin also said like she was basically implying that she was gonna do it slowly to take her revenge for him, basically killing Arthur, even though he's kind of not dead, but kind of.
From what I
So
took,
yeah,
I think what you said makes 100% sense. That there's going to be lasting or resulting damage from that torture, and that it should affect this being. Now, I'm not sure if Nakaba's going to do that. We've just seen healing, so I'm not sure if the power of
but
darkness
maybe
can heal his soul.
it's something to keep in mind though.
Yes. It makes more sense to have that, like to just fucking. It would make no sense to just that to not to come back and play again. No, she's torturing your soul. Like, Zarso.
Damage.
I feel like it's not gonna have an effect on the fused being, personally speaking, but I wouldn't be upset if it did.
Oh, I agree. I like the
I also
idea,
wouldn't be-
but I don't think it will.
I
don't
also
mind-
I
I don't
also
mind
wouldn't be
additional
surprised because it's Merlin, so she does whatever she wants.
Essentially, again, like I don't mind internal damage just because if he's like again, if he pushes both Merlin and Escanor, then like a little bit of damage on him prior to wouldn't be too bad, just to keep things somewhat realistic. But at the same time, at the same time, again, this chapter just dropped, and like all we saw was a guy transform. We didn't see anything else after that. So literally, like the jury's out on whatever could happen, potentially. But is this in Merlin's? Is it in her nature to be a torturous? Yes, I would say so. Especially in the case of like how she kind of raised Arthur for the most part. Kind of raised him like as like her own, like for the most part. Like essentially, it's like looking at Hawk's mom and Hawk the same way you would see Arthur in Merlin. It's kind of fucked. It's like you can't really just kill someone's kid in front of you without them getting a little bit tight. Just a little bit.
Arthur being the child in this scenario. Yeah,
exactly.
I get that. Son, what do you think of all this?
I was gonna say the only thing that I could say would support that completely is her treatment of Grey Road and maybe even Maricela, as we haven't seen, because she said like they're gonna be the guinea pig. So I imagine there's some torturous activities going on there, but
oh yeah, probably. I mean, think about it. She experiments on things all the time. Like that's all she really does. So at the end of the day, her being ruthless towards whatever she really like wants to figure out, I wouldn't be surprised if she's pulled things apart from like limb from limb just to figure out how it tinks.
I mean, also, I know that this was like it's supposed to be a comedic scene, but if you remember when she took the King Bartra, she kind of experimented on him with like a worm from the underworld to make him better, but she wasn't really sure if that was gonna work or not.
Oh yeah, it was a demonic spell. Yeah.
Oh.
No, like it wasn't an OVA that she teleported him back to her like lab and gave him like this worm to eat, and that essentially made him better. But she wasn't 100% sure if it was gonna do that, because if you remember, that's why she wasn't in the fight against Hendrickson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because Meliodas even said that you used the king as your guinea pig. That took a lot of guts, exactly. Don't you think? So yeah, I remember that. That's true.
Sundown, what do you think about Merlin's actions?
I think it's well within her kind of character to be able to do something like that. She's shown she's kind of scheming and got a bit of a screw loose in terms of just doing things like this. It's something that I think Merlin would be capable of. I'm just a little bit confused because I'm still of the mindset that she says it's to fill her heart because of the pain that she feels at having lost Arthur. But I'm still convinced that she doesn't view Arthur as a student. She sees him more as kind of a next man in line.
I want to put my straw into that as well. That it's more student than anything, maybe, hopefully. But there may be a little bit sprinkled in there of something else.
Yeah, I can see that. And in terms of Cusack, I think the original demon, that's a good idea in terms of he might actually be affected by what Merlin did to him. So I can see that happening. I mean, I wouldn't really want it to happen because I want the original demon to go in full power, and I want Bond to come in and clean up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hop on the wave.
Why does everyone like
purgatory train, baby? Let's do it.
Hey,
Because he came back from a 6-year
hold your fucking
training.
horses, you fucking Bond lovers.
I want to. Can I quickly say something about Merlin? As far as her being a torturess, it's true. But the fact that she, it's something that Sundown just brought up. It's the fact that she said something along the lines of like, "This will fill the hole in my heart" and stuff, or something along to that effect. And the thing about that is, she knows about Meliodas and Elizabeth and their tragedy, which is that's the perfect word. She should know better than anybody that killing them, torturing them, murdering them won't do anything. So I find it strange that she goes down that path so easily. I kind of find that almost out of character.
What?
Like, I agreed up until that point, but then when I heard that line, I was like, wait a minute.
Meliodas
She should know better.
Meliodas literally destroyed Danafor because of that. I can't.
And what did that do? What did that do at the end of the day? He's still weak.
100%. I agree.
And Merlin knows this. Is my point.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, Meliodas is the legal recipient. He's literally in the situation, and he still hasn't learned from it. So I'm not sure if like it's fair to say that Merlin should be knowledgeable enough to not go to this extent. I think that it's justified for her Yeah,
Oh,
that
it's
is just what
justified.
for.
It's justified. I'm saying that watching as an outsider, if you watched your friend or someone for years torture themselves over a bad relationship, the last thing you would do would be get into a relationship with a similar girl, so to speak. So, like when you see that toxicity, so I don't understand,
Why
like
just went off the deep end? Probably
right,
because
right
probably because they're
yeah,
the sins. Remember, they all like at one point or another they all essentially kind of like fall to like their own vices. Like that's the whole
true.
point.
And
They
she's
all end up doing
gluttony, so maybe
And not only
she
Well,
that,
needs
it's like,
some.
it was shown with Hellroom as well. Remember Hellroom, he had that desire to have a stronger relationship with humans, and then once that was betrayed, the pain of that haunted him continuously. And it proves exactly what you're saying. Like we saw that resolution that continuously killing was not going to remove the voices in his head. He killed humans for 500 years, and he was still tortured by those voices. It was only Harley Quinn's killing Grace that freed him of that. So I agree 100%. Logically, this is not going to assist her. But emotionally, I think it's been consistent even within the story that these niggas are fucking dirty.
Absolutely. I just wish we had seen a little more of an emotional turmoil right before she did it.
Yeah.
Knows that it's tipping her off the deep end, but does not care. She's like, I know this won't make me feel better, but I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do it anyway because it's the best thing I got,
Yeah,
sort of
that's
idea.
evil.
I would have liked something like that, I guess.
mm,
But that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because we saw her lose her cool like once at the moment of Arthur's death, and she hasn't really played around with the thought of Arthur since then. So I thought it would have been a little bit better if we had seen her kind of in that turmoil, in that kind of dark place, right before torturing the guy responsible for killing.
Yeah, like even one quick panel of her like crying over Arthur's like floating corpse, for lack of a better word or something, and then attacking Cusack. Even just that one little shot would have cemented it for me.
Yeah,
True.
one little tear would have been fine.
Yeah,
one-
exactly.
I feel like she's a bit
As
more professional than that. I mean, like she clearly cares, but it's like I'm just gonna like drag this nigga through the dirt from a little nigga, like
That's
like,
professional.
and then like I'm gonna just do what I can to just drag this nigga through the
as
dirt.
as for my kind of stance on whether it's out of Merlin's character, I don't think it's really out of her character, but I can see why someone could be like, okay, I don't think she would do this, but I really don't give a shit because fuck no.
Naya. You know what, Naya. No one cares about you either, right?
I,
Oh,
I
you
kind
know
of I kind of agree with that. Like maybe like 4 people max, but I feel you. I feel you though.
The next instance we got was apparently the way that the curse is gonna work is the closer you were to a relationship with Mayo, the more you're gonna be affected by it. This is a few pages ahead, and we're gonna come back. But how do you feel about Zeldris in this interaction with Esterosa? When I was
you're jumping a
I mean,
little far
personally, I
ahead there,
think it may
Jim.
go ahead, Fang.
Yeah, like personally, I think it made sense a lot, especially if you look back at the relationship when the three evil stars, interacted again when Meliodas went back with Elizabeth, because Zildris didn't really. I mean, even he was kind of appalled because Estarossa was like, "Well, what if we kill our comrades? Will we be able to take the commandments easier?" And Zildris was like, "Bro, the fuck." So, other than like he hasn't really been seen caring that much about him. He always looked up to Meliodas. So to me, it makes perfect sense that he didn't really give too much of a fuck. And now that like he said, oh, he's not my brother. Fucking a, perfect. I don't give a shit. So
The, the,
that's
the,
it. I
the,
mean, it makes sense to me. I'll like, and what was kind of funny and also pretty badass, like the panel where Lodoshia does the bridge, which was pretty funny.
oh
Like
yeah.
I think that panel can be memeable as fuck. Plus the cleavage, and Escano running like a fucking dumbass to get his axe. I don't know, man. Like that panel was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck you, dog.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
In my thoughts of that, I would personally, I'd have to disagree with Fang on that one, just because I agree with the Escanor looking like a Mickey Mouse character was awesome, and I want to bring up one other quick thing is that I don't understand is that remember that Hendrickson was not able to heal Gil Thunder and cried for Lord Redestiel to come help, and he was like, "Fuck that." And now all of a sudden he's able to heal him. I don't understand. We might get into that later, whatever. But I really don't understand now. Hendrickson can heal Gil, but before he couldn't. Now, moving on to the actual part, which was the Zeldris and Esterosa thing. The problem I have with that is that even if I only have one brother, but I have cousins that have like two brothers and such, and even if I look up to one brother, it doesn't mean I don't give a shit about the other one. And the fact that he, like, I can name scenes like, watch out, brother dived into Cruel Sun to try to save Esterosa against Escanor. So the fact that he, like, you could say he didn't give much of a shit, but to say, like, basically, I didn't give a shit and recovered that fast is a little odd. The fact that even Cusack and Chandler having this same amount of, what do you want to call it, downtime for this memory lapse seems a little odd. You would think Zeldris would even get an extra minute.
Well, actually, I will have to start with them because I don't think it's odd, given the nature of what kind of being there. Because remember, they were one, but when the Demon King split their soul, he basically imprinted the information. Okay, you two fucks are gonna teach my children how to fight, and we're gonna see who's gonna become the next Demon King. Now, at that point, there was only Meliodas and Zeldris. But because Esterosa was also imprinted on them, it kind of makes sense for them to have some sort of an attachment to him, because he's still the son of the Demon King as they knew him before. So I think it makes sense for them to feel something and have, that rebound, the headache thing, at the very least for a while. So with them, I see it again. I kind of now that I think about it, I kind of start to agree with you a bit with Zealous. He should have at the very least felt something, but I don't think it's that.
I'm not saying that it shouldn't.
In the grand scheme of things.
I agree. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be quick and that he didn't feel much because Meliodas was his true brother and such. I just think that it should have been it shouldn't have been such a quick boom. Yeah. Oh, Esterosa, my other older brother. Yeah. No, fuck that guy. I was only trapped in the coffin with him for 3,000 years. Fuck that guy, man.
I do believe also that we were told that he had issues like with darkness magic in general and having certain powers, and that they were speculating that he wasn't going to be able to contain the commandment, the first commandment that he was given. So I could see as to why he may not admire Mayo, because he wasn't necessarily the pinnacle of power, in the demon world as Meliodas was. But I don't know. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's not that it's not justified. It's not that it's not been supported. It's just, it's your brother, dog. Like, that's your brother, dog.
I don't know about the rest of you when it comes to this whole familial bullshit. I have family. I care about them. Like, kinda. I wouldn't want to see him killed in front of me. That's pretty messy. But at the same time, it's like there are some things that are pretty unavoidable. I'm not saying that I'm that heartless edgelord who wouldn't care if my brother was slain, but no, I'm not that guy. But at the same time, it's like you have to keep in mind when it comes to the whole your emotions, Meliodas, your emotions make you a little bitch. You're just like a whiny little girl. You can't even control yourself. Shit like that. It's like this guy just got out of a mind fuck. Esterosa isn't my brother. Well, he would have gotten in the way to become Demon King. Plus, I want to be Demon King. So, less opposition, the better.
I mean, yeah, but this might.
Well, actually, now he doesn't want to become. All he wants is his vampire girlfriend now.
Yeah, but you remember when Esterosa got fucked over by Escanor? This nigga flew behind him, was yelling out "brother," and even took the damage that that was gonna be resulting from the Cruel Sun. It's just trying to protect Esterosa.
Did you not just hear me a couple minutes, not even when I first made my statement? I understand. I'm not the edgelord who would watch my brother get waxed and not do something about it. But at the same time, it's like once the truth is revealed, or when inevitable things happen, lines are drawn in the sand. Think about it. He clearly didn't care about Meliodas when the commandments went to try to kill him because he ripped off his arm, and they were ready to fucking seal him in place and kill them, and they did.
So you're saying he cared about?
Yeah.
You're saying that Zeldris is. Hold on a second. You're saying that Zeldris' love for Meliodas is less than Mayo's love for Rudisel? Because if we are to believe, from what we understand, Mayo believed that the truth about Rudisel became the truth about Meliodas. So whatever he felt about Meliodas, Hold on. Okay. Then if you're not saying that, what do you say?
What I'm saying is this: Zeldris is literally ruthless for a reason. We've heard it multiple times before. He became a ruthless executioner because of Gelda and everything. But at the same time, it's he's been ruthless before. He had to kill his own brother, dude. Like he had to kill Meliodas, the guy he actually looked up to. Like he didn't even look up to to Estarossa. The true nature is that he looked up to Meliodas, not Estarossa, and he still fucking played a part in killing him. So.
But he let Estarossa do the deed.
He let Estarossa do the deed, fair enough, but remember, he played a crucial role in having Meliodas killed in front of him and their group, and then took over Camelot.
I'm just saying, Milo did the same thing. What we were told was that the relationship that he thought he had with Meliodas was the exact relationship he had with Rudisill. So him crying over killing Meliodas was technically him crying over killing Rudisill. That's how he would feel about that. So all I'm simply asking is, because Zeldris didn't cry when Estarossa killed Meliodas, his actual brother, should we then not believe that the love that Mayo has for Rudisill is stronger than the love Zeldris has for Meliodas?
I would.
Oh yeah, I agree.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say
No,
that.
I would say Zeldris is better at hiding his emotions, so to speak, or making the brave face. Look, he's made the brave face for how many years with Gelda? He he made the brave face about that. He didn't argue it, as far as we know. Once again, we need more backstory in Taizai, but we know that he's been doing this for a long time. He's had to shoulder the burden of the world. He's basically the Atlas of this series. He's been shouldering the burden for a whole time with a straight face, just doing what he's told. It does not surprise me.
Little hedgehog.
Yeah, but the main problem here is that the pain that they're supposed to be feeling is not something voluntary or something you can just put up a strong face against. It's an involuntary reaction that's gonna hurt depending on how close they were to Miles/Estarossa. So it's not something voluntary that he can just kind of hide.
Pick me.
Be like,
Pick me.
I'm actually
Pick
not
me.
doing anything.
But as I said, Fang, it was Estarossa who did it. We didn't see Zeldris have to stab 7 hearts of Meliodas. Maybe he would have cried. We don't know.
Pick me.
Oh, Naya, go.
All right, let me tell you about Lil Zeldris, Demon Prince, aka the future Demon King, aka Young Ominous Nebula. All right. You don't fuck Estarossa. We don't give a shit about him. He's a mid. What the hell? Ain't nobody care about that loser bum. I was so happy he said that shit, and Kusai's like, yo, I never like that nigga either. I never felt easier on him either. I'm like, bro, thank you. I get what you gotta say, and some people were afflicted by the curse, whatever. He's like, yo, I never even liked him. Someone asked me do I think it's BS because he saved Estarossa? But there's so many reasons why he could have saved him. I need more strong troops. I need soldiers. There's so many things you could have considered that he didn't save him just because, it's my brother, I must protect and save him. He's like, bro, I don't have any respect for this dude. And if you really look at how they interacted when Meliodas came back as his ruthless assault form, did you feel any sort of friendship between really honestly all of them? But did you get the impression that Zeldris gave a shit about Estarossa? He's like, yo, we're doing this thing. Don't go do what you're gonna do. I know about you. Don't be an idiot. And he went and been an idiot, right? So it's no, fuck him. I completely believe Zeldris. Well, Gelda out. We good.
All I mean is that he should have, as a brother. All I'm saying is that, and maybe it's not needed to be shown, but I just think he should have been affected a couple minutes longer than Chandler and Cusack about the revelation. That's all I'm saying.
I understand, but I said, I disagree. I think Sundown is only because he's been shown to be a ruthless guy. But then again, I've already made my point. I'm ready to move on from this topic.
Sundown, what do you think about Zeldris?
Yeah. All right, so Zeldris, I think his relationship with Estarossa is partly because of how he was raised, and I assume he was mostly raised by Cusack, and Cusack had this uneasiness towards Estarossa, which seems to have transferred over to Zeldris and resulted in this kind of gap between this rift between them. So I don't ever think he was really that close. I mean, who was it? Was it Griever that said that there's a multitude of reasons, or was it Naya that said it? There's a multitude of reasons why Zeldris would save Estarossa in that cruel sun situation. He needed men at that point in time. So I just don't think he. I think he should have just because he was his brother, been a little bit more torn up about it. But seeing as he is the disciple of Cusack, I think he kind of brushed off on him his attitude towards Estarossa.
And I kind of see
Fair
this
enough.
too, where it's like, wait a minute, the brother that I had who was perceived to be a weak demon who only became what he was when he was quote unquote wet. Like like the demons probably view strength in a higher regard in the sense of the angels, where you can have love and compassion. That's just fine. Like, the demon clan is not the same as the angels and whatnot. There's obviously there's outliers and shit crosses over, but like generally speaking, you're not gonna see a demon in the same light as an angel. In addition to that, the reason why I'm like, yo, him not caring, it makes sense to me. Like, okay, so wait a minute, this guy was actually Maya. Fuck Maya. Like, thank God. Like, we good. Like, why would he? Why should he stress about that? Like, I don't really like. I get why some people are questioning it, but I really feel like it really isn't that. It really isn't that like I feel like it's totally justified that he did not fuck with it.
It's not that deep.
Yeah.
I think the mindset for Zeldris is kind of probably because as a demon prince for the most part, like he's kind of like perfect. Like he's basically like what Meliodas was like an unfeeling, cold, calculating, merciless kind of individual. So like to kind of like take two and two and put them together, it's like okay, he's not my brother. He's actually my enemy. All right, fuck him. Like it was pretty simple from from jump.
I think honestly I agree with Sundown's interpretation that Cusack being the raiser of him and such had more of an influence, and the unease he felt created the gap rather than the other one, because as I said, I'm still under the impression that Zeldris is actually like tearing himself up inside every single fucking day, and he's putting on a mask of the executioner just to hide the fact that he can't have what he wants, in my opinion. But I mean, we don't know. That's just my headcanon.
It's definitely easy to see a lot of these things happening, but that may be the last reference we get in terms of this. Hopefully, it's not. We're definitely gonna get the Rudicell, Mayo relationship interaction, but
You have to also remember this. Sorry, real quick. Sorry, let me cut you off. Just like it's not even that he's like, oh, like, oh, whatever, fuck it. He's like, yo, I'm relieved. Fuck him. Like, he did not mess with him. It's like, thank God this man is not my brother. Oh my goodness, Jesus. Like, well, sorry, continue. You're doing.
all right. The next part is a pivotal point. And I want to see what you guys' viewpoint is on this. Chandler and Cusack decided that.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Instead of like taking them on 3v3 again and trying to find a different outcome, that Zeldris' strength was best saved to take on the remaining sins. This is an acknowledgement from Cusack of the strength of the Seven Deadly Sins, a group that we were told from the beginning that was made specifically to take on the Ten Commandments. Does this acknowledgement solidify that they've done what Meliodas planned to do, or is this just empty hype? Excluding the King information, because as far as we know, Chandler and Cusack have no information about King's current power level. So with the previous sins, is this like okay for Cusack to believe this, or is this overhype? Remember, we're not talking about Escanor, Merlin, and Meliodas. Those are out of the group. The rest of the sins.
I mean, in a sense, it is. Also, you have to keep in mind that he knows that Elizabeth is also there, so she might play an important factor, especially since she might do something with Meliodas to maybe break through the cocoon and talk to him or something. So he knows that if they come at that particular point and Merlin's there, Escanor is still there, they're gonna have a pretty difficult time. That's why they decided to fuse ultimately. Maybe he thought, well, if we fuse and then take care of Merlin and Escanor, they'll just diminish their forces. Because I agree, like, he doesn't know about King. But also, question that because I was reading the chapter, I was like, where the fuck is Ghosted and Mael? Because they weren't.
Yes.
They weren't there. So what? Did they rush forward to the castle to Camelot? Did they not? Like, what the fuck? Like, where do you guys think that they were?
I think this may be the same thing that happened last time for the actual reveal, where we got that picture of what was going to happen later on. and then we got filled in more information. I think it's the exact same thing. That they're probably there somehow or in some capacity, but we just don't see the context for that. And it may be that that's for a reason. Like it's like we didn't get to see Cusack, Chandler, and Zeldris's bodies, even though we saw the context of how they got their ass beat. It may be because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. What do you guys think, Griever and I?
I'm gonna be real. What's the question?
I like this guy.
Do you think the sins are as strong as Chandler and Cusack are making out to be, without King's power up and Bond's power up, because they don't know that? Is this hype justified?
No. I don't think without their increased power that they stand a chance against you talk about like the original demon, right?
No, Zeldris, because Cusack is saying that Zeldris save your power so you can fight the remaining sins, and the remaining sins are Bond.
Oh yeah, I think Zeldris can pretty much handle anybody for the most part because of his ability. He may not be the strongest in terms of overall combat class or power level, whatever they call it. I can't keep up.
That Demon King power.
But
that Demon King power
but that with his original Magic Mommy's Nebula, it almost makes him a legitimate threat. It took the one to knock him out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I do think that in some ways, Band could be a bad matchup for him. I don't want to get too into it right now. We'll get into it a little later, maybe if anything. But Zeldris, in my opinion, is capable of handling anybody. He may not always win, but he stand his own.
As far as I
there's a king though.
Yeah, as far as I understand the question, we are going to we're going to X out King's power up because we haven't seen the full extent of that, and we're Xing Bond's potential power up. As far as that goes, yeah, Zeldris wipes the floor with the rest of the sins. No question. Now, as far as the King power up plus Bond, and who knows how goat he became, I don't know. I really don't know. I would like to say that Bond can take care of basically everything right now, because, as I said, to me, having an immortal body is one thing. We saw him get stabbed for 250 chapters, pretty much, and take the damage. He just recovers from it. After surviving Purgatory and being torn apart basically millions of times, now his body has basically become Diamond fucking motherfucking Jozu, and he can't be even hurt, let alone, like, so as far as I'm concerned, the dude leveled up like stupid, and I don't know. As far as, like, it's so hard to say. I'm going to leave that one up for debate, because I don't have I can't pick a side.
I don't know about the rest of these knuckle dragging apes, but Bond just came out. Again, there's like yeah, sure.
Bro,
like,
we're talking about the context of the chapter. We're talking about without their power ups, without King and Bond being powered up. Can Zeldris?
The power ups, obviously, Demon King wins overall. Like, that God power is too goat. That God power is too dope.
Then why did he say this?
Through face off against Bond before the power up, King before the Bond power up. The sins are dead. He'd mow through all of them.
Bro, y'all niggas are not addressing what I'm asking. Why did Chandler say this? That's what I'm asking. I believe, I understand. Yeah, we saw. Why did he say
They
this?
don't know. No, they don't know. Grimm, correct me if I'm wrong, but remember, they don't know about King's power up, and they do not know that Bond's coming back. So is that why you're posing the question? They believe that before King's power up and before Bond came back, that Zeldris can handle it.
No, because before the last time that Chandler saw them, because Chandler, they know about all the 7 deadly sins. Before that happened, Bond didn't leave, so Bond is there. So I'm asking you, with Bond and King and Diane and
in
Galton,
that form, of course they believe that, of course, and I think that Zeldris, of course, could take them, but he would need to preserve his strength. A weakened Zeldris versus all of them, combo attacks, I don't know. Like, that'd be one thing. That's why he's saying we need to preserve your strength so you can make sure you take them down. It's like a guarantee. It's like a guarantee bet.
Yeah, and part of the reason why they're like no more games, Fuse on high. Merlin,
you don't want an
Merlin and the Scanner are clearly not a joke at this point. It's just like, let's just get this shit done, because even though we unleashed our magical power separately wasn't enough. Let's just go all balls to the wall and get it done.
Exactly, because certain people, dude, you don't bet the long game on an injured Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. You want a healthy Tom Brady in the Super Bowl to guarantee your money. That's the way it works, right? So that's basically what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. They're like, you know what? Yeah, still good if you're weakened, but to ensure our guaranteed bet and make us some moolah, we keep you at full strength. That's just the way it is.
What do you think, Sundown?
I agree with Griever wholeheartedly. I mean, like, they got to make sure that Zeldris is so far as they know the power levels that they think they know in terms of King without his what the hell do you even call that hairstyle? A pompadour? Quiff?
Yeah.
His Elvis.
Yeah, his Elvis hairstyle and his big ass wings, and they don't know about Ban and his friggin' apeshit steroid cycle down in purgatory. They don't. they have no idea about any of that, so they need Zeldris to be as healthy as he can be. Seeing as he's already taken a bit of a beating. I mean, like, I know he's healed, but does their fatigue heal as well, or does it recover? I'm not too sure about that.
Unless you have an immortal body, the fatigue will build up. But I mean, like Meliodas has had some. I mean, Meliodas has had fatigue get to him, but like he just has a shit ton of stamina. I'm pretty sure, and Zeldris has it too. Zeldris has like probably a good amount of stamina, just like Meliodas, because he's done a lot of shit for someone who got slapped up pretty hard.
And the only fatigue we ever saw from Bond was when he used Fox Hunt or Snatch or whatever.
I
when
actually
he took
feel
all the
like
power,
Zeldris
so.
recovered a little bit more quickly than I thought he would. Especially
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Like I'm
did
like,
pretty
hey,
well.
I'm all for it. We out here, Zeldris the go. But it's just like I was like, wait, you got Shigun in the whole chest, then you got Speed Blitz a couple times by
Nah, like I
BCL.
gotta disagree with that. Like
then-
if you go back here with Hendrickson, that dude was regenerating like sliced off arms, slashes across his body, fucking increase
Yup.
all over his like skull and shit. Cause keep in mind, Meliodas told him like you might be able to heal really fast, but again, there's a limit that you still have the stamina issue. So Zelda's healing so fast doesn't really pose that much of a problem. I mean, if you think about like what was Hendrickson's like power level when he was not even with the green demon, but only with the red one, like what 5,000 maybe. And Zeldris is like much more than that, plus an expert with darkness and healing. So just the fact that he heals so fast doesn't really surprise me at all.
No, it's not necessarily that he healed so fast. It's that he healed as fast as Cusack and Chandler, who are clearly stronger than him, right?
Yeah,
Because
they're
I think
definitely stronger.
I think of Meliodas taking the one slash and he was out much longer. Zeldris got up pretty damn quickly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
was
get it.
impressed by that.
But to me,
That was really
the
quick
biggest
recovery.
the biggest instance that would say that they would be down longer is if it affected their hearts, these attacks. But just like Fang pointed out, we've seen all kinds of demons have all kinds of shit done to them. Like I've seen Chandler get cut in half through his chest. So why would a heart not be hit by that? Apparently it wasn't. That's fine. That's not bullshit. We've seen niggas get their heads cut off, shit like that. And those type of huge injuries, you would think that they would take at least a few more seconds longer for that to happen. But like, I think it's exactly what Nia said. Like, this guy got fingered by the one. And sure, he was down longer, but why is it that made him go down longer and not when you get cut in half? Or like,
But wait a minute, we had a
Probably
long.
because the
I
technique
think
actually didn't land completely. Like Divine Sword Escanor actually put the work down. Like Divine Lance Escanor, he
I
hit him,
agree he didn't
but
get
but he
pierced.
didn't go through. Yeah,
But he
yeah,
got
he
hit
was
hard
pierced.
enough that it canceled both of his
No,
magics.
I'll tell you why, because Naya brought up the perfect point. Is that the fact of the matter is that Chandler and Cusack were down and they all seemed to recover at the same time. Remember that Zeldris was recovering the entire time from the one.
That's
Chandler
fair.
and Cusack were fighting for
That's
a
fair,
whole
Merlin.
chapter,
Okay,
and
that's
then
fair.
they
that's fair,
recovered at the
that's
same
fair.
time. So,
But then again, he still took like the last
Yeah.
hit of that chapter though, because like
Yes,
he exerted himself to block all those attacks, landed staggered, then got blitzed.
True. I'll give you that, but maybe he had enough recovery time to be. We saw him damaged, but maybe he had a lot more recovery. But I don't know, man.
It's not an issue. I'm just saying, like, respect my nigga.
Yeah. Oh, we're respecting.
Healing factor on fleek, baby. Wolverine all year. Let's get it.
Well, if he cancelled out all those traps that Merlin set, wouldn't that have, just by the nature of the Demon King's ability, wouldn't that have kind of souped him up a bit?
I think it's like one tier below, so it's like he doesn't get the magical power, but it's like he can still tell those powers to fuck off in the first place.
Okay, so he doesn't get he just cancels them out. Fair enough.
I don't think he has like the literal absolute ruler like the Demon King does, but like
Yeah,
No,
the invasion.
no,
whatever the
definitely
second
does
best
not.
version of that is, he has.
Invasion.
Yeah, He's got, as we've always talked about, he has a percentage of the Demon King's power as a result of being the hand of the Demon King. Potentially, that's only a percentage of the ruler. We don't know.
Fair enough.
Did you want to talk? Wait, Grimm. Oh, is he cooking? I remember he said he might have to get some rice. All right, so we'll keep it going then. Cause I know he wanted to talk about the scanner thing. I think we skipped it. Should we?
Yes. Before we do that, can we quickly just take a quick poll of everybody for my point because it's on the same page 6, about the Escanor thing and the Gil. Does anybody else see a flaw with the fact that Hendrickson could all of a sudden heal Gil Thunder all of a sudden?
No.
Yes.
Is there a reason?
Kinda.
I don't want to argue. I just want an explanation as to why he couldn't do it. Now he can.
To be honest, I don't give a fuck. So it's not really that much of a deal.
Okay. I won't argue that.
But also, like,
that's kind of my sentiments. Like, I don't think it makes sense, but
I think it makes the fact that
I have no good explanation for you. All I can do is rationalize. I don't have a good real explanation. I don't know how he was able to do it because he literally asked, "Hey, help he's like, "He's like, nah, I'm busy."
Two chapters.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I'll do it
Oh,
myself.
Hendrickson? I think I can. I think he pulled like something similar to like what Zardoris did. He didn't not to kill himself or anything, but basically he like pushed basically went above and beyond to try and heal Gil Thunder.
Yeah.
And essentially fuck around with the healing that's put on him by Ludershell and basically reopen his own wounds. It's basically that's what it looks like, at least, because remember he started bleeding again.
Yeah, he was injured before. I didn't notice that.
I would have just liked to get a line of once again, explanation is key for some of these things. Some things are visual. I would have liked a line of explanation saying I'm gonna use my own life force then. Or
it's
something.
Just one of the things was I don't care about Henderson or Gil Thunder, so I just skip over
No,
that.
but I just thought it was
I don't even
weird.
notice them sometimes. I just went back and looked at the actual panel. I was like, yeah.
But anyways, we can move on to what you said about the Escanor thing, because I think that has way more talkability.
Okay, yeah. So he picked up, Divine Ash Rita, and then he's back in his form. This threw me for a loop a little bit. I don't know how you guys feel about it. You think it makes sense? Because part of me wants to say that maybe Chandler's ability to whatever he did to block out the sun is not a literal, he didn't literally make the sun go away, and because of that, it's still out technically. So somehow with the little bit of heat that his divine,
he literally made it go away.
His sacred treasure can retain, it gave him back form. We've seen a couple of exceptions of this where it's not actually daytime, but he's able to turn to his more adult form, if you want to call it pride form. But I don't know, it definitely threw me for a loop. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Well, to me personally, and I think it makes sense because that's the main purpose of Rita. It's charging fire, because you can.
Yo,
Where'd you
Where'd you
go?
go? Cut out, bro.
Where'd you go? Bring him back. Give him back, Chandler.
Hey, you're
Want him
cutting
back.
out, Fang.
Erlen, do not pull absolute cancel on him. We need Fang.
In the meantime, Griever, could you give us your thoughts on what you thought about him powering up like that?
Sure. I'm with Nana about this. I like Escanor as a character, and I don't think he's as broken as certain other characters. But this, to me, makes very little sense because I felt like other times of the story, this could have been brought up or relevant in other situations. So I'm curious as to why it's working now.
Well, if you look back at the Vampires of Edinburgh, he kind of did a similar thing there, in a sense.
True.
Go on. Go on.
But that was different.
Fang's not wrong, actually. That is the one instance that he did. Yeah. But wait, he was holding a sword. He wasn't holding Rita. He was holding a sword.
Well, but here's the thing. Again, that's the purpose of Rita, and I also think it has to do with the amount of actual energy he pours into her. I don't think he just has one day, because he knew he was going to work. He knew this is going to be a big deal, and it was a fact that Mona told him dude, go get your fucking axe. So she knew he's gonna regain some power. And I think it makes sense. He basically puts the heat in of his ability, and then he just regains it back because also we don't really know how exactly his power. I mean, we know, but we don't. Maybe it has to do with the heat of the sun and how much heat his body is absorbing. And that's why he's growing more powerful. Maybe not. Again, we don't know. We just know that at high noon he's the one, and up until that point he goes stronger and stronger and stronger. But what if it has to do with actually like the heat that his body absorbs from the sun? That might be also the case because again we don't have 100% facts on how it works. So if it's indeed that he just takes in heat from his axe, I guess it makes sense for him to return to somewhat of a level of power because he's not even like a big buff dude. He's just kind of normal.
He's pretty
as he
big
was
though.
when he
Like
started.
as far as we can see, his
I mean,
head
he is,
is
but he
twice
is.
the size of Merlin's. So
I mean,
like
he is in the form that he fought against Garan, but he's not the buffer form he had prior to going
The
the
one.
one because he
Yeah.
has kind of three stages. The one, a buff form but not really as big, and the one he's in this chapter. He's
Yeah.
kind of his normal Escanor pride form, if you will. So
Um,
personally, I think it makes sense.
true,
I
That's
was
true.
what
I'll give it.
I was speculating before because I agree that we definitely don't know the instance of his power. But one thing that we can confirm now is that his body responds directly because of the grace. This is not. I think this is like we can finally confirm it now that whatever is happening to his growth is in direct correlation to his grace, and because before this chapter, the Visa arc, it was said to us in the translation that him seeing Merlin was the reason why he could pull it out. Not because he had read in his hand, not because of anything else, just because he saw Merlin in his psyche, and Gothar put him in that position. So I could definitely accept an argument where it's that the residual heat or heat is what allows him to increase, or him absorbing heat is what allows him to get to that point. Fine. I could even accept that like the heat that Rita absorbs over time, he can take it back and power himself up. Fine. But the previous assumption was that there may be an issue with his power and control that Mayo may not have. As we already mentioned, Mayo's body doesn't change according to the grace. We've never seen that before. I thought that it was just Escanor's lack of ability of control as to why he couldn't pull out the one at any point in time. That's what I thought. But it may be solidified that that's different now. Yeah.
Me personally, Grim, I didn't think that. I thought it was always in some of my theory videos I stated as such. I think that it was the nighttime form was compensation for enduring the grace for so long. Like during the day, you endure the grace and your body can handle it, and during the night, it loses all power just to be able to, I need my 8 hours of sleep sort of idea, like most other people do, right? It's something that I just felt that. It's unclear, and I think we need more information about it first, and then we'll see, because I don't think this was very well established. If it was, as Fang pointed out about the Vampires of Edinburgh, I don't think it was well established beforehand, and it's kind of weird because now will he start to diminish? Is it 11 a.m. and he's going to go higher? Is it 1 p.m. and he's going to start getting weaker?
I think
And for that matter, if he was holding Rita when he was in the one, would he have killed Zeldris? Like, would he have maintained the one regardless? Because clearly Black Knight, the spell, is not affecting this Rita Sun form.
yeah,
So,
I think
weird.
I think that's why they made him drop it. I mean, like, that's not why his scanner dropped it, but the reason why, like, the writing had him drop it, it was for him to be able to pick it up. I mean, like, a couple of chapters ago, she kept telling him to go get it. He's like, oh, no way. I should shit crazy over there. I ain't going. But so I guess that was the reason why. I think there was enough instances of him becoming, in a bigger. Well, I guess the one instance when he fought against, he didn't fight against what's the giant's name, Delore and
Plaxinia?
I'm gonna call him Drop a Life nigga. But yeah, Gluxinia. Yo, I love how he spammed that shit. It was so beautiful. Just Drop a Life every time I was hurt.
I love it.
And he did it. He threw his shit at them and he like hurt them.
A little bit almost.
Then with the Eisenberg, when she like took him out of that form, it's like there's been a lot of instances where you've seen that it may have been a certain type of day, but he was not in the right form. That I didn't completely was like, whoa, this makes no sense. But when I saw it, it definitely took me out. I'm like, wait, you just grab your axe and you're back in this form? I don't know about that one.
I just like the fact that this motherfucker just throw Rita somewhere, fucking across town, across the country, across the village. We need that station. Hey, Rita.
Like why don't you just carry it with you all the time? If you could do that shit, like just carry a match. Okay, actually I don't know what era it is. Make a fire, throw the axe in there, get some heat, baby. Keep it in the sun. Get a magnifying glass to amplify it too, and then there you go. You good.
Y'all dirty, bro. Sundown. What are your thoughts on Escanor powering up?
Yeah, it threw me for a loop for a bit as well. I mean, like, hearing you guys say what you did, it kind of makes a bit more sense. But did he, at the tournament of Viso, was it called Viso?
Yeah.
Did he even have Rita on him when he reassumed his day form?
Yeah, he threw it at them, didn't he?
He summoned it. But it was across the country. It's real. Like, nigga.
Okay, so he was holding Rita when Gartha kind of put him in that imagination kind of thing.
No. He jumped
I think
up.
I think they're saying that he called it after.
Jumped up in the air, then called it.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so
again, on some Thor type shit.
Yeah, so it threw me for a loop. But yeah, after hearing that, it might be something like maybe more heat based. But I feel like this is where Nakaba has the freedom to kind of get himself out of a tricky situation, saying at first that it was time of day, and now he can be like, oh, actually, it's more to do with how hot he gets looking at Merlin or something.
I think
Yeah. Not wrong.
Personally, I think it's fair because at the end of the day, this is Escanor touching a sacred treasure, and we're going into this knowing that Charge and Fire is an ability that the weapon itself actually has. So if he did have like some of the power still stored inside of it, then there's no reason why he couldn't get powered up. As for why he didn't have the axe with him during Vassal, I mean, shit, no one's gonna carry that shit. Even Bomb probably wouldn't carry that shit. But yeah, like it did throw me for a loop when I first saw it because I was like, I've never seen this particularly happen. But it's not like there's nothing there that says he couldn't do it. So it's not complete bullshit. I'm not too angry with this. This doesn't really bother me too much.
Oh, by the way, not to sound like a dick or anything, but just for clarity, it's Edinburgh.
Edinburgh?
The fucking Englishman would correct you.
I prefer you to correct me. I don't like saying shit wrong and people just like, what it means. I hate when people don't do that. Like I remember I used to call Matt Bonner for years, and people would
how the fuck is it called?
Would not correct me.
So it's Edinburgh?
Edinburgh.
As in, like, do you know in England the things called boroughs?
Oh, boroughs. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
but
Edinburgh,
I thought borough was spelled like I don't know. I always call it Edinburgh. Because,
yes, it's a completely different spelling.
Mispronouncing that shit
because like baro is Baro.
That's like
one at a time, guys, please.
That's like if you said Scarborough.
I suppose.
It actually makes sense. You're right. You got it.
Yeah, I always call it Edinburgh because I knew of a place called Edinburgh and it was spelled that way. It's somewhere in fucking Scotland or some shit. But anyways,
yeah, the one in Scotland.
Heard it.
The one in Scotland is called Edinburgh. It's based off. Really? It's based off the one in Scotland. I'm literally going there next Monday.
Oh, I believe you. I believe you, man.
Jesus.
I'm just a British Canadian. You're actually in the UK. You count for more.
Yes, sir.
Not enough though.
Jolly good, mate.
So the
what? Jolly good, mate. What?
Jolly good, mate.
The next
I never even heard that down here.
Are you mental, fam? I'll mash you up, blood.
Okay, this guy's good. Who's this guy?
Y'all niggas are
talking to you wanker. None of you wankers talking to me.
The next portion we're gonna get on was the fusion. So
the Horseman of the Apocalypse,
as we mentioned earlier in the stream.
Actually, no, he's not a horse. If you look at his design carefully, has more of a feline body. Like
he's a lion paw.
Chimera sort of look
like that. In the beginning, we were discussing the predictions that led up to this point.
Like fucking anal plug things.
Hold on. There may be more lore in terms of like Arthurian lore that may reference this. Me and Zarsa were talking about how there may be some connections with Arthur that could predict what's going on later. So, do you guys know anything about this? I think it's like Chimera Horseman that you were pointing out, Fang, about this, or what are your ideas on this form?
Like what it could be based off.
Like anything.
Yeah, like
What's your opinion of the form? What's your rating of it?
bells.
Like, does it remind you of anything? Anything like that? Let's start with the form first. Fang, if you'll start.
Not really. I mean, yeah, sure. It has that striking Horseman of the Apocalypse vibe, and it kind of makes sense since he's the first creation of the Demon King. But other than that, I don't think there's something in Arthurian lore or something like that that references it directly. It might be, but I'm not really that familiar with it, to be quite honest.
What did you think of it? Was it like trashy or like?
Oh no, I mean I think it looks fucking awesome. But I'm just saying in terms of lore, what if like a centaur type thing has something to do with like Arthurian lore? Like I don't know about that. I don't know about Arthurian lore, but as in the design itself, I love it. Like again, it looks fucking awesome. I love the fact that it kind of like again, it seems to be like a centaur thing, but it's not a horse body, which I kind of like because it's something you kind of have to look at, you notice the details. And the one thing that's kind of odd is like the fucking shield just comes out of nowhere.
Oh hell yeah!
Other than that, I don't have any problems with it whatsoever.
Griever.
For me personally, I first thought Chimera or Horseman of the Apocalypse done all in one go, thinking that maybe potentially like the four arms are representative of the four horsemen, each one. But I think that was kind of already done with the four commandments being absorbed. It's hard to say because it's clearly like a lion body of some form. It could be a manticore-esque thing. It could be a centaur. It could be. There's a lot. There's a lot of creatures in. Could be even a take on a griffin. Like there's a lot of things to go over when you look at the design because the design is rather unique, honestly. Like it takes. I feel like it takes a combination of multiple creatures into account.
Agreed.
It could be a take on the Green Knight. You know, that poem from Arthurian legend, but
Also, I just
That's
now
already
kind of
been
thought about
used,
something.
but I mean,
I apologize to interrupt you, but I now just kind of thought about something. He kind of parallels Lucifer in a sense, where if you take the Demon King
yeah,
to be like God, he's kind of in the position of Lucifer, where he wanted to usurp the Demon King. Lucifer wanted to usurp God, and God was like, "Nah, fuck you," and basically punished him. Now, in this case, the punishment is different, but he kind of has that Lucifer vibe in a sense to him now. There's
Morning
that kind of feeling
Star
to it.
sort
So,
of idea. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
I was gonna bring that up because I know we're talking about the design, but one thing I wanted to say, which was on page I think 14 or something. No, it wasn't 14, but just before that, when they were gonna fuse, I just questioned the fact that this guy fuses into this badass looking form, regardless what it is. But the fact that his punishment was literally to do all this stuff, which is fine. He rebelled. He's a very Lucifer vibes, but then he can fuse back at any time with no repercussions.
Yo, that's what I was gonna point out.
That's what I was about to say.
Bro,
This guy.
when Hawk started shining, bro, I thought that was an effect of him fusing. I thought the Demon King had an automatic spell happening that whenever they fuse, something in the real world happens to stop that. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Like honestly, I agree with that because this is weird. Like
Well,
the fact that he can
I
do
personally
this.
have to disagree with you because I don't think like there's no repercussion. Because keep in mind, like when they were split, the Demon King screwed up with their soul to make them like want and love his sons, Zolus and Meliodas. So even now that they fused, they still have that personality change where they're still gonna fight for Zelrus in this case. They're gonna fight like the original demon is not gonna rebel all of a sudden against Meliodas and take his commandments. He's still gonna fight for them. So even though they fuse back together, they're still scarred in that particular sense of them,
Before we
loving the
continue,
sons of the Demon King.
before we continue with Naya, Sundown, and Zarso's opinions about the form, I'm gonna reread exactly what we were told about the instance. It says, once long ago, in order for the Demon King to rule over the underworld, he created the one certain demon, naming it the original demon. The Demon King granted his power and his
Trash
most
day, by
trusted
the way.
retainer. Yeah.
Lazy.
And his most trusted retainer. But the sinful demon of origin took great hubris in his own strength and started a rebellion to take the Demon King's throne for his own. Of course, after overtaking the demon, it received a great and dire punishment. Its body and soul was torn into two, and it was given an important duty. These were to be instructors to the two princes and raised them to be the candidates for the next Demon King. So, what does the phrase "and it was given an important duty" mean to you in terms of them being able to use his power? Because to me, that would be the biggest reference that would fix what Griever's pointing at. But let's let Naya and Zarso and Sundown give their overall opinions about the form first.
Looks cool. I like it. Looks good. What does that remind me of? Literally, you can literally everything was listed: the Griffith, Chimera, whatever the case may be. I kind of think of like the Black Knight in the sense too. Like, I don't know. There's so many things I could from mythology and folklore I could relate it to. Yeah, I don't. I just think it looks pretty cool. I don't hate it. I don't love it, but it's nice. I like the little I think it's like purgatory fire for hair. I like that touch. That's dope. It looks like black fire for hair, kind of. I think that's cool. But yeah.
I think I agree with fucking Naya. Again, it could be anything. Just for a little context, by the way, when it comes to Arthurian legend, or at least like the base Arthurian legend, like you're taking like Celtic pagan mythology and you're sprinkling Christianity here and there, so you get like a lot of like different weird things just kind of just floating around, because normally you don't get like those two religions together, and this creature seems to be like a lot of that. I do feel horse apocalypse, I do see satyr, I do see pagan, I do see Christianity, I see like a lot of it, and it's just again, design's badass. I like the armor bits too.
Oh my god, hell yeah.
I think the swords probably do the most for me, because it's like those Cusack swords, but like they're bigger now, and like they have a bit more size on them. They don't look like as thin as earlier, and I don't know, like it just I don't know, the swords look cooler now.
Oh, it's a literal chimera then. It's a mixture of a bunch of mythological creatures at the end of the day.
No, it's just an abomination is all it is.
yeah, that too.
It's an abomination. Here's the thing that I realized. At the end of the day, I don't like. As a knight, you can see some crazy stuff. You see a troll, that's ugly. See a dragon, that's scary. See a vampire, that's kind of scary. But see that? No. I quit.
It also kind of sort of looks like this one creature in Ruby from the fourth season. I don't know what it was called, but it kind of reminds me of that too. What I wanted to say real quick. How did you guys feel about that explanation though about like the first demon thing? Cause like I was reading it in my head, I thought they were gonna go like the original sinner route. I was thinking to myself like, yo, could this be like a person who became a first demon by sinning against the god or some shit? But it's like, no, the Demon King was already out here. Like, he made dude. So, like, you're not the original demon. The Demon King.
But it was before he took over the demon realm. I think it was stated, wasn't it? It was when he was taking it over.
Before this, we can confirm. We know that the Demon King, using force, took over the demon world. So we know the demon realm existed before he had. There were people there before he had, and that they weren't unified before he.
But he said he's the original demon. So
yeah, he said long ago. It's stated once long ago. In order for the Demon King to rule over the underworld, he created one certain demon, naming it the original demon. The Demon King granted its power as its most trusted advisor. So literally before the underworld was tamed, shall we say, under the Demon King's rule, this guy was the herald of that war, so to speak.
Given 10 commandments, as we were told before, and then betrayed the royalty.
But then who was there before, and who did he
Right, there you go. See, that's the fun of it.
And who did he ask to join his rebellion if he was the only one kind of created?
I always heard one thing. I don't know how much you guys know about certain mythologies, but since Fang brought it up about Lucifer, one reiteration that I've always made the distinction of is, why does everyone think that Lucifer is another name for Satan? Don't you think that Satan was there first? Hell was already established, so was Earth. So when Lucifer fell from heaven and crashed there, he had to take the throne from Satan. They're two different people. And that's a lot of people have this in different contexts. but it's part of the whole thing.
That's
so
not
maybe
true.
potentially that's a similar thing. The Demon King had to take.
Are you talking
the
about
underworld.
biblical stuff? That's not true.
Wait, real quick before because like let's not hop into that. I'm just looking at like some shit. So like it says in purgatory there's two creatures, foreign and indigenous, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean those things are like not demons?
They're
They're just
They're creatures related
they're
to
just
purgatory.
What are you talking
yeah,
about?
Yeah,
like-
just creatures.
they're just creatures of purgatory, like the foreign species and like the
Yeah.
Okay. So then the original demon would be an actual demon. I guess maybe they were fighting against these creatures. Like what the fuck was he fighting against?
That's how it's
very
saying.
true.
Like,
Well,
It's
here's
like,
the
what
thing.
were they?
Well,
friend has
Purgatory is in the underworld. I still have no idea how the fuck the Demon King ended up in Purgatory. He's
Yeah.
supposed to be in the underworld.
I
That's
think
something we
it's
have yet
because
to
they-
learn.
but
I
isn't
thought-
isn't purgatory
Yo,
this
yo, hold on,
this
slow down.
universe's version of hell?
No,
though?
no.
No.
Hell is another place. The demon realm is separate from purgatory. That's true. But I always thought I heard this explanation. I don't know where the source comes from, so it could be full of shit. But it was the fact that when they used the coffin of everlasting darkness, it could not contain the demon king, so the demon king was sent to purgatory as a result. Now that's
Yeah, it's
weird.
bullshit because he was
but-
already not in the material world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he
and
was
also-
never he
So,
was
how
never
the
in the
fuck did it
material
affect
world.
him?
He was never in the material world. He was either in the demon realm or
But
purgatory.
didn't the coffin take in 10 commandments though?
Yeah, it did, but then it couldn't take in the other half of the demon king. So,
Yo, why
I don't
not
know,
remember this?
I don't know.
I did not remember this shit. I swear to God. I thought
Viewers, that story is unconfirmed, and because Griever can't confirm the source,
It is.
please
It
do
is.
not,
It's
yeah,
not-
please do not utilize it as a truth. As far we do
No,
not
no.
know why the Demon King is in purgatory. We do not know why.
Hey, I did say that this
Agreed.
was a source. I don't know where it came from.
But
is something I've
this
heard.
changes
As
so
a
much of my
theory-
perception because I
As-
did not
as a theory,
realize
it's
it.
not bad. As a
I
theory,
thought it
it's
was.
not bad.
I thought they were in the demon realm this whole time, dog.
All right,
Because
so
we have no indication. We have no
second.
indication where the demon king was during the holy war.
So to clarify to the viewers, and you guys correct me along the way. What we know is that the Demon King existed in the demon world, and we don't know much about the supreme deity. Once the war happened, because they were fighting before the war, it seemed. Something happened with the Gauther shit to allow the goddess race to seal the demon race. The goddess race did indeed seal the demon race along with the other clans. So
With the coffin of everlasting darkness.
exactly, with the covenant of everlasting darkness. And a giant, I believe, made the coffin, and then certain other species were involved in making the other trinkets to allow the seal to be solidified. That's why certain portions were needed for the key, as keys to unlock the coffin. So as far as we know, the demon world exists as a separate place. Purgatory exists as a separate place. And there may even be a separate realm for the goddesses, which has been unconfirmed. But we do get information in, I believe it's chapter
Oh, the celestial
200. Yeah, or 201. Yeah, about
Yeah, well, actually, there's been confirmed that there is a role for the goddesses. Because if you read the manga for the Prisoners of the Sky, that's what the main villain that was trying to do. He was trying to get into the celestial realm, and Milo was like, "The fuck you doing, boy?" and basically slapped the shit out of him. And then we got these like a fight between Milo and Meliodas, but it never really happened. It is kind of like they had a stare down and they both fucked off. But the main point was that there's a celestial realm somewhere, so it does exist.
Yeah, I was always under the impression there was 4 realms in Taizai. You had heaven, hell, earth, and purgatory.
there's
Yeah, exactly.
there's more than that, but
capital
There probably
considered-
is, but those are the ones that I believe are confirmed.
Yeah.
as far
Yes.
as-
Wait, isn't the capital of the dead considered heaven?
no,
No,
it's,
no.
Oh, hold on, yo, hold on a second. Confirmed in the story in the manga of Seven Deadly Sins is what we're talking about. Fang gave some exterior information that is indeed canon and it is indeed the truth, but in the story, in the page that we can read of the manga, I believe the only reference was given with the Sky Islands and then the portal in chapter 201 or 202, I believe I was going to say, that Nero Basta was responsible for opening to bring reinforcements in. Were those the two references?
The capital has to be because it says the capital is the place where all the souls go when they die, so that would assume that's like the equivalent to heaven.
No.
That's more like limbo. It's like limbo, like a
Oh
nice
no,
limbo.
purgatory. Is
I
like,
thought when
purgatory is-
Nero Basta opened
purgatory
the
is
portal
limbo.
because
Yo, guys, hold on. Hey, bro. Hold on, bro. We're not.
Purgatory is limbo.
Akuma, hold on, bro. Please don't interrupt anybody. Who was going first? Was it Griever or somebody
No.
else?
That was it. That was it. I was talking to Akuma, but that was it earlier.
All right, Akuma, go ahead now, please.
No, I was just saying because it says that's where the souls go on to move on, and then purgatory is the in between, um, wherever hell is.
So does purgatory in this world actually act as like purgatory?
It's a prison for souls. That's what it is.
It's a place where souls that haven't passed on. That's what it says.
All right, but no, well, I know what actual purgatory is, but I was actually under the impression that this was the demon realm.
Oh no, that's not the demon.
Yo, I did. Yo, I honestly, I didn't know. I learned something new today.
Did Griever get kicked?
No, what happened?
Yeah, he's not in here.
Nasa?
Okay.
Where's Nasa?
Nah, Griever. Griever got kicked, I think.
Ah.
Where you jump out?
There's so many demons that are still like lined up that are ready to face all these guys, and they haven't even been shown.
All right. So the next part we're gonna discuss is the Dark Zone. So in the assimilation of Chandler and Cusack, I guess enough power was released to destroy the Dark Zone. What does that say about the power indication for these guys?
They strong, and only Ban can stop him.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what I got. Why would
There you
y'all?
go.
Let's start from the top of
With his
Fang. What's
signature.
your prediction on this guy's strength just using that feat alone? Fang? Oh, guys, he's busy
Fang.
too. Griever.
What was the question? Using his strength alone, what do I think is going to happen?
Using the feat of him transforming and then that destroying the Dark Zone. What do you think we should expect from
I think that finally, and we will not get into the last chapter, but I think that finally, Merlin is going to attempt probably the same broken bullshit she pulled in the last chapter, but she knows it's not going to work because at the bottom of page 16, she goes, "As of now, we've just completely lost all chance of victory. We're done." Like she can't pull the double impact, stacking 100 spells on top of each other plus infinity plus sacred treasure. She knows it ain't gonna work. That thing's gonna speed blitz her before she can even try. And I think we're gonna see some devastation from this thing. And I think this is where the Seven Deadly Sins finally all get back together. Like Deanne, King, Elizabeth, now that Bond's back, they're all gonna rush towards, along with Mal and Gother. They're gonna rush towards the site. We're gonna get this big confrontation, and then Meliodas' cocoon will open once everybody's back together. So that's what I think is gonna happen.
But would that be satisfying enough for Disney to be the final villain? Because if Bun is back, Meliodas' emotions are back, so it might be the twist that when Meliodas awakens, he's like normal Meliodas. So even if we have the team up, them back together, would that be satisfying enough to just see them fight against the OG demon?
Yeah, because I don't think that he's the last antagonist. I think.
Yeah,
it's,
he's
I think it's-
not. Yeah, no.
I think I don't want to go into this. I'll try to keep this as brief as possible. I never really felt that, at least at this moment in time, that Taizai has a true antagonist. I always felt that the things they fight against is the things that keep them from their object of their love. For Meliodas, it's a curse. For same thing with like Ban and Elaine, it's like the fact that she died and she wanted to bring her back. Like the things that are keeping them from like just being happy together is the real antagonist. So to me, the final two things that must go down or at least be reasoned with are the Supreme Deity and the Demon King.
Absolutely,
That's how I've always
100%.
seen it.
They need to go
100%.
down. Or the plot, in my opinion, sorry to cut you off there, Naya, but the plot of the Holy War, whatever the workings, because Supreme Deity and Demon King are working together with that shit. There's a reason they want the Holy War to continue. There's a reason that the Demon King wants Meliodas to take his throne. Why would he want that? Why wouldn't he be a power crazy hungry asshole? So there's clearly a reason behind it, and I think that they need to destroy the concept of the Holy War. They need to break away this whatever reason that grand scheme that has, and I hope it's not some end Deus Ex thing reason, but they need to take down the Supreme Deity and the Demon King because they are clearly the cancer of the world.
I understand.
Actually,
I agree.
have
I agree with the reasoning. I don't agree with taking them down only because it seems as though these gods seem to have some kind of like they seem to be needed, at least by their clan, in some way or another. Like, even though the Demon King is like a bad guy for the Demon Clan, he's like their number one. It's like, yo, we need to get him out of purgatory ASAP. Like, because essentially with him, because with him, like anywhere around, it's like, yo, it's like big boss is like is in the house, like shit's gonna get lit. Like, but I do agree with Naya. I do agree with Naya. It's like, yeah, it's like the like there's no true antagonist. It's only like the obstacles in the way of someone's love, or like, you know, of a character's, I guess, like, you know, character story arc.
I don't express this often, but I feel like one good thing Taizai I felt like it's always did is, at least for me, I never felt like the Sins were the good guys. Like, once war ensues, every party has their own reasons for being in the war, and nobody's righteous at that point. And I always felt like Taizai has been good at keeping that level of moral ambiguity in the gray area. Nothing. I won't be like, yeah, the angels are the good guys. No, the humans are. No, like everyone has a reason for being a part of this war. So that's why I never felt like they were like, no, you're the bad guy. No, you're the bad guy. Like, no, like there's obviously made antagonists for the series for the characters to fight. Anyone who opposes a protagonist, whether they're a good or bad person, is an antagonist. That's how it works. But like for me, I never really thought like there's one super bad dude that everyone's got to come together to defeat. So that's just how I've always seen it. Because I always say Taizai is a love story disguised as a battle shonen.
I just gotta ask if Grimm made you ever like what does Grimm have over you? The fact that we're reiterating the same thing we like bitched about all over the weekend, and now you're literally toting Grimm's side now. Like, what does he have on you? Like, dude, talk
It's
about
I have a
it.
question.
My nudes leaked. My nudes leaked.
Oh, your nudes leaked. That's the reason. Grimm's got them. That's it.
All right, hold on.
But I want to know what caused this demon.
Yeah, hold on,
to
because I have actually a question, because something kind of popped into my mind. Because you were talking about why would the Demon King wanna have an heir like so fast? What? Because we don't really know. I mean, we know Midoriya and Zerus are his sons, but what the fuck does that actually mean? What if it's? And I have no idea how many of you actually read the Soul Eater.
Oh, I
Well,
love
in that case,
I love Soul
yeah,
Eater,
so maybe it's a Shinigami type thing where until Meliodas reaches a certain level of power per se, the Demon King is still active and he's still alive. But once he's ready to pick up the throne, and that's what he wants, he's gonna basically pass on the torch. And he's gonna die. Maybe Meliodas is a part of him in that sense. Just like Zelda said, Ashra water.
It
And,
could be Fang. I agree with something. I agree with that. I just hope it's something a little deeper than Soul Eater. Not that Soul Eater didn't do a great job of explaining that, but I just feel like there's got to be a reason. They are actually trying, like the Demon King has said multiple times, they have to keep the Holy War alive. They want a war. Why do they want a war? There's got to be a reason. And I'm just hoping for like some mind-blowing, like, damn. Thing from, I guess.
I just want to know
But
why.
I don't think that.
Hold on, guys. Guys, hold on.
Reason for why they want it, 'cause
We don't have that much time left, so we gotta finish through this. Sundown. What's your opinion on his power based on the feats that he has and Kusak and Chandler coming together?
Oh shit, are we still on that? Damn.
As of right now, he is the strongest in the verse.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, like, he broke out of a cocoon, which Meliodas has erected with 5 commandments in him. So he's got to be around about 5 commandments, I'd say. Possibly a little bit higher.
Let's just add up their powers separately.
Yeah, hold on, come on, let him finish. We are at an hour 30 minutes. We got to get going.
Okay, yes, I'd say he's around about 5, maybe a little bit higher than 5 commandments, maybe around the mark of about 6, 7 maybe. So this guy is powerful as shit, but it's not going to matter because my boy Ban is going to come and just clean his shit up. He's going to get Kuroshu, stick it right up his ass, and then we're done.
Sundown's right.
Well,
Next.
Akuma, what are your thoughts?
About this, just one of them, their powers are like equivalent to like 3 or 4 commandments by themselves. So if you combine them back, that's almost all the commandments. 300 Gs.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point because when they first came back, Zelda said they were as valuable as 9 commandments.
They're both almost close to 200 Gs separate. Yeah. So if you combine them back together,
so they're gonna be insane. Like forget the 5, 6 commandments thing. I said they're gonna be insane.
Yeah, and it's crazy that only Ban could beat them.
Yeah, Bond coming in
Like,
for the win.
I just want to know what caused them to change who they are, because they could just merge back whenever they feel like it.
Yeah. I think someone else brought this up a little bit earlier. Was it?
That like, I was like, okay, you guys can merge back whenever you want, and you betrayed the Demon King. But
Yeah,
you
exactly.
could
It's
do
like, why haven't you fused earlier and just snapped the shit out of the Demon King? Or at least
like-
try.
Probably
like
because the last time they did that, they got their asses like mangled and like
he's
really
like-
torn in half.
Yeah,
No. This guy did way more damage than Elizabeth and Meliodas ever did.
Yeah, but
This
he got
guy
attacked
is
by
fucking
the
top
Demon
tier.
King, and
But
he's like,
still got torn a new one by the
Yeah.
Demon King.
literally, yeah, it's one.
Fang, we were gonna ask something before we had to go on.
What?
You were gonna ask something before we had to move on.
Oh yeah, no, it was the whole thing about as I was drawing a parallel to Soul Eater, whether or not it's gonna have to be the same thing where, Meliodas is just like an extension of the Demon King, so he just wants his heir as quickly as possible to continue the Holy War for whatever reason. Maybe that will be the case, maybe not. So we're just wanting to know what everyone thinks about that.
All right.
Personally, as I think I already said my piece on that. I like Soul Eater, but at the end of the day, I hope that it's something grander. I want like some crazy, like I did not see that shit coming, True Detective level craziness. Some
So, in your opinion, what would that actually be? Do you have any idea?
No, that's why I'm curious, because I don't have any idea. As someone who's followed a lot of stories, books, manga, TV shows, movies for a long time, I'm stumped. So it's either going to be absolutely horrid Deus Ex Machina bullshit, or it's going to be something so far out in left field I never saw it coming. And I'm hoping for the latter of that. When I have a theory about it, trust me, it'll be a big news promotion. It'll be a theory video. But I don't have an inkling on the reason why. You make a good point, Fang. I can't deny that one bit. But I'm hoping it's something. I hope it's not a carbon copy of Soul Eater. I want something different.
So far, it's been kind of predictable.
Yeah, that's why I want something out there.
The last part we're gonna harp on before we head out is the foxing. Get it poppin'.
Yeah.
My boy.
Let's start with Fang, bro. What's up, dog? What's your thoughts? What's going on, bro?
Dude, Bun is back. That's how that needs to be fucking said. And look, like I said, Bun's gonna be the one, probably with a sacred treasure. Mullen's gonna pull some shit where it's like, yo, Bun, I got that shit. Pop in, equip, max stats, boom, that's gonna be it. Like, I would want Escalon to get the fuck beaten out of him, only for Bun to save the day, because at this point, Escalon without the one, it's nighttime, he can't do shit. So that would be kind of cool. Escalon gets his ass whooped. Mullen can't do shit. She even said, I have no idea. Like, I'm still like, I have no idea what the fuck to do. Bond comes in, by teleportation or whatever, and just beats the shit out of it. Because, look, we've had Bond go through all these different trials, all these different periods during his time in Purgatory. So we know how powerful he is. Like, he fought for hundreds of years against the Dragon, Mel. He had so much difficulty with just one monster to get the materials to make his horse. Then, after 100 years, like, we just one hand, one snatch, hundreds of meters away, he just killed it. Like, we just showing the progression that he had. Plus 16 years battling the Demon King. Like, to me, this is just no matchup. Like, Bond will whoop his fucking ass. And that's it.
This is what I need.
So,
This is the
So,
energy I want.
so
Words of a
Bond,
fan,
before there was Escanor, there was Bond. And Bond is number one. Bond is going to kick some demon ass, as Grimm would call it, those dirty demons. He's going to beat their ass. He's going to beat their ass, and I'm okay with it. I will say, I'm wondering why the hell Merlin can't just pull the same Deus Ex Game Shark she pulled with the double impact and stacking spells on this thing. Why she thinks she can't do it again is beyond me. But the fact that she's scared enough to not try to do it, or she'll get speed blitz doing it, makes me happy. Makes me happy that Bond is going to come in and save the day. Also, one thing that Fang just said about Escanor Nighttime not being a wimp and stuff. Got hit by 20,000 power level Galland at nighttime. Did not get his head fucking blown through a mountain. Still survived. So, durability up the yin yang. Next.
I was gonna say, I think like next chapter, Bond's gonna like find his that his staff was stuck in
Stuck up his asshole.
no, it was probably
I mean,
in Hawk's nose the
I
whole
mean, he
time,
was in
or
prison.
some shit like that.
That's the safest place.
It was in his nose the whole time. He's like, that's where it was.
Naya, bro, what's up?
Undead Toban. Let's go. Let's go. Ban, when it comes to Ban and Zeldris, those two, depending on what happening, they could always shift from 1 to 2. Right now, it's Zeldris, but Ban to me has always been the best written character in this series because Ban constantly does things. Part of it's not Nakaba just not always letting himself be like, you know, falling into tropes and whatnot, but Ban is just a real nigga, and I fuck with him because like I'm gonna get one quick example because like I feel like there's like the one scene when he met Zavago, what was his name again? His
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you know, like, oh, I like a son, whatever the case was maybe, and it was like I let him down and I had to betray him, blah blah. And Ban, I feel like in any other like shown anime, they would have milked that plot point for like another 30 chapters before like, wait, you were that bad? Ban's like, nah, it was me. It was cool though. I would have forgiven you if you didn't go save your own kid. Don't worry about it. I'm like, yo, what a reasonable thing to say to somebody. Yo, your literal blood-born child was in danger and he went to save them. Yo, what the fuck? Like, Ban is a real nigga, bro. I don't want to hear none of that. That's the realest nigga in the show by far, easily. He may not be my favorite all the time, but he's always been the realest.
Bond's number 1.
Best written. That backstory with the lane goat.
Does this make up for the fact that he's been like kind of garbage for like the whole
Combat does not make a character good or bad to me. I don't care about that. I'm not a meathead. My favorite character in Dragon Ball.
As far as characters go, I agree.
Wait, who is your favorite character?
Bulma.
Hey, this guy.
Hey, Brooks
What
the
you been
best
reading?
straw hat.
Oh,
Brooks the
he's
best
not.
straw hat.
Taking that Goku dick.
Before anyone tries to just like keep talking over me and everything, I'm just gonna go ahead and like get my stuff out so we can move on and everything. Because I've been
So
for, like,
much
3
so.
hours now.
Well, you are pent up after all.
I am pent up. I am a little pent up.
I'm the demon king.
All I will say is that like Bond just came back. I don't know if y'all know this, but like he still doesn't have a sacred treasure. Like so, like y'all need to calm down with this whole he's gonna do this and that. But I will say that that the goat did just drop, or the goat did just drop. So I'm pretty hyped. If he comes through, go straight to like if he cuts a swath straight to Camelot and just like fucking like rips his demon like a third soul. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, Bond might be, like, the real GOAT. He might be the real GOAT. But at this point, it's just happening to see him. I mean, personally, if you could, like, you know, just, like, make a beeline for, like, Mama Hawk, save Arthur, bring him into the war, that'd be fantastic. But I know that, you know, like, life doesn't give you what you want. So that's probably not going to happen. Because, you know, just the way it is. But I'd like it if, you know, if they actually move, like, with the army the way they're supposed to move, because again, it would make no sense for the group to just be all like, we're going straight for Camelot when
holy shit!
When
Bond
Diane
might be
and
actually
King,
able to heal Arthur.
hold on, right? Again, my thing is, it would make no sense if Bond were to be like, no, if Bond were to drop and like, okay, Bond's here, we're going straight to Camelot, when it's like literally all of you are supposed to be with the search and destroy team. The fact that you kind of like leave them high and dry without letting anyone know that there's a change in plan. I mean, like, I know that someone said that Gother and Mail were gone, but it's like when it comes to like a military tactic, seeing as how we're in a war, that would be kind of like a cheap way to be all like, yeah, we're just gonna start the final battle, and it's like all this plan that we had out the window. None of it really matters. Like, again, it wouldn't make sense. But
we only need Ban.
But again, that's what I'm hoping that he snatches that fucking sword out the kid's chest, heals him up.
How did we get on this Arthur shit, bro? Y'all let Fang, like, bro, pop Arthur's mouth as you dig, Zarso, and let's move on down to fucking Sundown. Y'all niggas y'all always find a way to get back on Arthur. He's fucking dead. He's
Arthur
fucking
pent up
dead.
dragon.
I'm Arthur pent up dragon. All right, I'm pent up.
Hell, bro, you and Fang, some fan, bro. Go ahead, Sundown.
Wow, jeez. All right, cool. Yeah, so I think I'm one of those guys that thinks that Ban is gonna get his sacred treasure. He's gonna get Kuroshu's in a really shitty way.
Where?
I think he's gonna get it in a really shitty way. It's gonna be something really stupid, like Hawk shits it out or some shit.
I already said that. It's gonna be in Hawk's nose.
Yeah,
It's gonna be like, oh, but, you know what? I think I got drunk here once and like left my.
it's gonna be like Hawk,
go.
or maybe Hawk Mama freaking goes into labor and gives birth to Kuroshu's, and you're just like, oh fuck, it's gonna be something stupid like that.
Or like Merlin has it. Like don't you remember you gave it to me?
Yeah. If Merlin has it, I'm quitting.
So, Commanders found it. They're using that shit.
Oh no, that'd be 2, and that'd be stupid. No.
Hey man,
They were using that as a back scratcher. That's what they were doing.
I personally think that my nigga Bond coming back is some real nigga shit. Just like Naya said, top tier in the verse, in terms of like relevance to the story, impactfulness to the story, backstory, relationships and shit like that. Bond is involved with everything, bro. He really is one of the niggas. That nigga, what do you want to call him? He is one of them. But I'm not sure. I don't agree with what Zarso said as to like they should probably go somewhere else before they come help here. I think that like the last few panels make it pretty clear that like the arrival of the original demon is going to draw the attention of not only the Sins but maybe everybody else involved, including the Demon King. We see his eyes opening for that was irrelevant for Bond's return, but I could definitely see the Demon King taking interest into what's occurring here. I don't necessarily know how strong Bond's going to be with his return. I hope it's as strong as possible. One thing that I wanted to elaborate upon on a future video is how strong is this purgatory power up? Because by all intents and purposes, there really should not be any person stronger than Meliodas' feelings or Bond and Wild in this series. There really should not. When you fight the strongest
Absolutely.
person,
Agreed.
in the series for 60 years, that should be an accountable feat, especially in an environment that's exceptionally hostile to you only.
Well, you'd assume apart from the original Demon, right?
Hyperbolic time chamber all over again, except maximized. Like
All I'm gonna say is I'm gonna call bullshit if he comes out with more power than fucking King.
I think I think that makes
Why
sense.
wouldn't he? He literally
That
drank
makes
the
more
heart of the Fairy King. He literally drank the heart of the blood of the thing that gives the Fairy King his power. The spirit form Chastiful. The Chastiful comes from the fairy tree. So does the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah,
It's
but the
equal.
fairy tree doesn't give you power because you drink it. It just gives you eternal life.
No. But I'm saying that it comes from the same source. So why couldn't one upgrade to the same level as the other? I'm not saying
Because
stronger.
Because his power up wasn't because of the immortal thing. The spirit or the Fountain of Youth hasn't increased at all whatsoever.
No, but he wouldn't have survived Purgatory without it. That's what kept him
I'm not
going
gonna say
through
he's not gonna come
Purgatory.
back stronger, but he comes back stronger than King with his wings fully grown. Like, come on.
How's
He
that?
better
That's
be
not-
stronger than King.
60
he
years.
should- He should
60
be
years
stronger
of
than
training. 60 years of training and
Yeah,
fighting
okay,
against
But if you think about it, the literal whole time he's there, he's getting stronger because spirit, magic, and physical. I'm going there.
Right.
Because the things are trying to take over his mind and turn him into one of the creatures of purgatory. He said, "Nah, I ain't doing that." Then, obviously, his body and stuff are getting stronger because the environment is just hostile to him, and he overcame that. Now he's back in like the regular world. Shit, this is like me
And
living
his
on
magic
400 times gravity and coming to Earth. Like this shit light as I'll jump out the stratosphere. Like this. And then he learned a new way to apply his magic. So his magic is growing as well too. So it's like we're not going to downplay. He
Exactly.
shouldn't be as
Every
strong as King.
category.
Don't do that.
Every category of Bond has improved drastically, like exponentially.
Especially if you
So-
consider how much people have been disappointed by him. This is his season. This is the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially
And I
with
can
all
honestly,
the stuff we
I can
do.
honestly say that King's physical did not improve. I don't
Yeah.
care what's more
Can I finish now?
physical.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
So
go ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
these
Go ahead,
niggas,
sir.
look, I could definitely be okay with Bond coming back weaker than King, because even though, like I said, there should be nobody stronger than these two niggas now because of what we know. That may not be the case, and narratively, I think it won't be the case either because that would put things out of position. Sure, the demon side just got arguably the strongest character in the series as of this moment. We'll see next chapter most likely, but for them, they're also gaining two forces. Meliodas' feelings are gonna come back to affect Meliodas. So whether that helps him, whether that helps Stigma or that goes against Stigma, we'll find out. And Bond's return. If we were really to say that Bond could beat this guy and like Bond's gonna do all this and that, there will be no issue anymore. You have to remember what Naya said. We really haven't had a main villain besides the two stereotypical guys and Meliodas throughout the entire story. To me, it's obvious. There's not going to be a final battle until he's the one in it. This is not a final battle. That's my whole viewpoint. That's why I think that Bond coming back is going to be questionable in terms of strength.
Final battle includes Mal and Escanor fusing, and we get Escanor's fucking beard and ponytail with angel wings. That's my call. I'm calling it now.
Top 10 greatest things I've heard.
Hey, Grimm brought up at the beginning. Grimm brought up at the beginning of the fucking podcast. He brought up the fact that everybody calls fusion and everybody calls shit chapters before. I'm calling end of series shit right the fuck now. Y'all heard it. I'm calling Mal and Escanor fusion into the ultimate form. The Archangel Michael, and he owns everybody.
All right, guys.
I know they're gonna do something like It's gonna be a final battle where all the sins are working together at their strongest versus one particular enemy.
Hopefully, but we're gonna hold on. We're gonna speculate on that. We're gonna speculate on that on the next session. Please like and subscribe to the video, guys. The more subscribers we have, the bigger the entire family grows, the entire community grows. Make sure you check out everybody's content. Everybody has a channel over here, and it's in the description. Hashtag the original demon, and tell us what you think about his appearance, stuff like that. The first 3 comments.
I feel like you never do the thing where you're supposed to read the comments. Do you do that?
Niggas don't do it. Niggas don't do it, bruh. Niggas will go into the fucking the premiere chat and hashtag everything, but they won't do the comment section.
Okay.
Damn, bruh. In the comment section.
I'm gonna start doing it just so we can read my so we can just read my Zelda
We forgot Pain of the Week though.
Just Arbitrus Nebula hashtag.
It's too late to do panel of the week, bro. Guys, hop into the Discord, and we have an art gallery section. We'll be posting our panels of the week there. The link to the Discord is in the description. It's where we talk about Taizai all day long. Yo!